And so here I am to challenge you to really think deeply, intuitively, ask yourself, how true am I being to my most authentic self?
I am thrilled I get to do this for you, because you are about to hear from a parenting expert who is, in the 30 years that I've been doing interviews, the best I've ever heard.
The way to fix the world is through parental evolution. To zone in on the parent-child dynamic is to heal the planet.
She's absolutely revolutionary and so evolved that her ideas are really a paradigm shift that can change the world.
Be curious, well, what is it? If it isn't what we think it is, success, money, marriage, stability, maturity, then what is it? And I began to see that it's this thing that I call consciousness.
Imagine if there were conscious parents who created awakened families. Dr. Shefali Sabari.
So here is where you need to take charge and dare to change the antipathy, the antagonism, and the hatred and the bigotry in your mind. Of course it doesn't show up as blatant racism. Of course it doesn't. But the seed of racism doesn't have to be against another. It can just be against an idea. It can just be against a behavior. It can just be against your child who contradicts your fantasy of who she should be. So unify your mind. When Mother Teresa was asked if she ever participates in anti-war protests, she said, no, you'll never find me there. But at the pro-peace rally, yes. So go create your own pro-peace first.
And our children too are the same. They delight in change, in change, in change. They can change form effortlessly because they do not hold on to the egoic agenda of what was or what should be.
Yeah. Because ultimately all I wanted was to know that I was being seen for who it is I am, not to fit into your agenda and your image of a good life. And we use our children.
Our children are not our easels upon which we get to paint the life we never had. Our children are not the diamonds and the jewels you get to adorn yourself with to mask your emptiness. And your children are not your puppets by which you get to fake an authentic life.
To fit into our idea. So they never get seen.
To look good on our Instagram page, to
right. So then
talk about to our friends.
Exactly. So now they're going to have kids because they need to be seen. You see, this is why we keep having kids in the unconscious way. Waiting to be seen. I know, it's so dismal. But it's the truth,
Let's just end the human race right now.
This is what relationships are. It's a constant, ping pong of projection. Now one is projecting their need and the other one thinks that they can fulfill it, and eventually it's the understanding that we only when we detach from the projection and fill our own need, right, and feel satiated from within, that we can truly be fulfilled and happy.
I'm not asking you to give up control. Rest. Keep your control. I'm asking you to do something far more profound, far more challenging, far more severe. Give up control, easy. What I'm asking you to do is give up your delusion that you even think you need to have control. So I ask you today, for those of you who have children in your lives, to follow their lead, because they will take you into the present moment like no one else can. It is just our resistance to enter the new. So I ask you, are you ready to enter the new? Are you ready?
Awaken yourself to your own healing. Heal your own baggage, discover your own wounds, resolve your own unmet needs, and turn the spotlight within. That is the entry point for raising a resilient child. That is the way to begin creating connection.
I loved Super Soul Sunday. I'd watch it every Sunday with my daughter, and that was our special time. And when Dr. Shefali was on, I just couldn't stop crying because it just felt like everything she was saying resonated within me in such a deep way. And she was saying things I had never heard anyone else say before, but they felt so familiar.
And unless we awaken to our own unique manifestation of the patterns of our ancestors, we will continue to be puppeteered, chattel to the slaughterhouse. So your task in this life, or today, or just for this moment, or when you care to, or when you're drowning deep in the muck of your past, is to realize it's not that dire. You are just one of many, you are one of the same, and you're just living out a pattern. It's your awakening to what your unique script is, undergirded by the ubiquitous theme of fear, that you will then uncover, unlayer, unwind, unthread, and deconstruct.
What she's doing is something like pretty inexplicable, because I mean what she's talking about is profound but very simple at the same time. But it's the way she does, the joy that she brings to the conversation, I think is really empowering, because I've seen a lot of different people try to talk about this subject matter, and she just brings this beautiful, constant flow of joy to the discussion and to the work.
But the minute they are on this journey, they become liberated, because they can trust that inner guide. They can re-access their own, purposeful living and reorient themselves to their inner compass. Right? What greater liberation? They don't have to read another parenting book. They can, right? It all starts from within. The last thing a parent, because we're very defensive and we always believe we're right, and this is our one chance to show the world that we got it right. We're good enough. Our children. And now being told that it is not the child and it's all you, and there's something you need to look at, is threatening for the parent. It's threatening for anyone. No one wants to look in the mirror, correct?
The core of all dysfunction that you may or may not choose to witness in yourself really was a legacy left behind by your very generous unconscious parents.
So you've come here not to learn or write more notes, but to really shed your skin, to slough off all that others who lived in fear before you told you to live by. Those are the standards you need to get rid of. Others you'll never find it. Client after client after client come looking for things, but the thing they're looking for lies within them.
Well, it's our desire to be the best, which really comes from a deep sense of low self-worth, because we are already, in our ordinariness, perfect. This striving to be the best is just, a sure way to create crippling anxiety, because you have to be something, and what is the best, and who defines that? So then, when you solo journey for a while and acquaint yourself with who it is you truly are, people go looking for who it is they are. There's no need to look. It's right there. It's been buried under layers of conditioning, lies from the prescriptions that you've been taught from toxic culture. So when you leave the maddening crowd, slowly you begin to hear, this is me. This is my truth. But you have to allow yourself the opportunity. So if you are sitting here wanting to discover your authentic self, but haven't yet traversed a lonely journey, alone, you're just beginning. You must encounter the dark night of the soul, where you leave to find.
It is time for us parents to answer our call to our own awakening. The moment is now, and our children await.
Dr. Shefali Sabari.